You're watching The HoneyDew with Ryan Sickler at your mom's house.
Welcome back to The HoneyDew, y'all. Sitting here doing it at Studio Jeans over at your mom's house. I'm Ryan Sickler. You can find me on all social media at Ryan Sickler, ryansickler.com. I wanted to give you some dates real quick. This weekend, I'm in Vegas. Come on out for the Double Down Festival. Edmonton, I'll be out there in May. I will be in Richmond, Maryland, and Atlantic City with Tom Segura in June. Also, Tulsa, Wichita, and Kansas City with T-Nuts in June. I'll be in Minnesota in August, and I just set a September date for Baltimore. So if you're back in Baltimore, you want to come out in September, we're going to do that again. And I just want to say thank you again to all of you. You guys have asked what's the best way to help the podcast. Subscribe, download, and review. Go subscribe to Your Mom's House YouTube page. Tell everybody you know. That's how you can get your merch. Do it. Buy my old album. You know, do all that stuff. The web's... How about that? We're going to keep that shit in. You're going to see why in a minute. We're going to keep that shit in. You're going to see why in a minute. The website is thehoneydewpodcast.com. Like I said, shirts, hoodies, stickers are over there. All the social media links are there. Make sure you follow the show. Email us at honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. And I want to let all the feasters know all Crab Feast episodes are now up. They're on their own feed. They're on Stitcher. They're on iTunes. They're everywhere they were. You just have to find it, resubscribe, download it, and that is it. You're all set. If you are new to this show, what we're doing over here is highlighting the lowlights and having a little fun with those not so fun times. And my guest today, it really needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one because he's still doing something over there. The hat comic, the helicopter comic, the tour bus champ, the fucking T-Nuts, Teddy Loons, Drip Daddy, my mom's favorite comedian, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Segura.
Ooh.
What's up, T-Nuts?
Good to see you, bro.
Thanks for being here. What was that?
Harvell and Teddy back together again.
What was that? What was that?
Fuck, man. That was, I was trying to post, they messaged me like, oh, you got to post this show, just got added. And then when I went to go post it, it opened up the previous thing that I had posted. So there was volume. Sorry,
well,
man.
if anybody's allowed to do that, the guy that owns the fucking building's allowed to do that.
Sorry,
so
man. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I apologize.
Way
man.
to be unprofessional, Platt.
Sorry, man.
Why don't you just go ahead and promote all these shows?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, thanks. I got Take It Down tour. We just added a bunch of dates. And today there's now 3 new ones on sale. We added second shows in Vancouver, Denver, and Minneapolis. So they're all at tomsegura.com/tour. Those are all second shows.
Unbelievable. I'm so proud of you, dude.
Thanks, man.
That's nuts. It's really nuts.
Well, thinking about you really embraced me, you know, when I started doing stand up. I feel like I was a kid. You're like 15 years older than me, and I got to the city. And no, but I remember, you know, where did we meet? Did we meet at one of the shows?
I just was talking about this with Christina. My first memory, and I might be wrong about first meeting, but my first like vivid memory was Bar One. It was on Sunset Boulevard, right where West Hollywood turns into Beverly Hills, and it was that like it was a club, but earlier
the Good
in
Bar.
the night. Was it called Good Bar?
Yeah, Good Bar.
Okay, I thought it was Bar One, but either way, that place.
Yeah,
it had the beaded curtain and shit.
That's the first place I ever did stand up.
And I walked out, and the first thing you said to me was, you didn't introduce yourself or anything. You're like, holy shit, I thought you were black. That's that's how we met. That's the first thing you fucking said to me.
I still think you are. But I remember, dude, I remember meeting you, and you know, you were super nice, and you invited me over, and then your place, your apartment became like my second home. I mean, I used to just come over to your house.
Dude, we make food, good food too.
I would come over there. I always took a shit. I remember you'd be like,
always took a shit.
You're like, man, you always gotta take a shit. I would arrive and be like, can I take a shit? And dude, yeah, we would late night fucking video games. We were always playing what? Splinter Cell,
yep.
Halo,
Madden,
a lot of Madden.
There were times
titles.
I called in. I look over at the window. I'm like, the sun's coming up.
Yeah.
I gotta call in sick,
dude. Yeah, and we would just do shows, You know, we would go over stand up and we were doing like bringer shows and, you know, for people who don't know, it's like where you basically pay the guy to go on stage. Like we would show up,
pay money,
and then he'd be like, "You didn't bring anybody. Give me $20." I'd be like, "Okay." So you're paying a guy to do a set,
perform,
and then
in the back of a restaurant. By the way, not a club.
And then I remember one of those guys after the show. He's like, "You didn't bring anybody. You need to treat this like this is the Improv, man." Treat my shit like it's A1. I was like, okay, man. Anyways, we hung out a lot, man. So I appreciate you always like embracing me, and you know, seriously.
Same, bro.
Yeah.
Please.
And then we made Cut Man.
Yeah.
Which I think that lives on, what is it, on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I have it broken up. Well, the episodes that went on Adam TV on Comedy Central are on my YouTube.
Yeah.
You can go there and watch that.
Do you realize how long it's been since that? It's almost 15 years.
I would say, what, 2005? 6?
Yeah, 5. We made that in 2005. Doesn't feel like that long ago to me.
You look older. That's what's crazy. Then, I mean. Mm-hmm. You really do with that facial hair.
I remember that when we were doing wardrobe, like figuring out what to wear for that, you know, we basically, for people who don't know, we wrote this short and we shot it, and we had a great small crew, but we had locations, and
they let us. This is how you know people in the boxing world are fucked up. If you remember correctly.
Yeah.
Wild Card Boxing, I think they were called.
Mm-hmm.
No, not Wild Card.
Wasn't it in the South Bay?
It was in Long Beach.
Yeah, Long Beach, right.
And these dudes showed up and they said, do whatever the fuck you want. Here are the keys. Saturday, had us lock up Saturday, come back, open it up ourselves Sunday, shoot all day Sunday, lock up Sunday, and then just leave the keys. They never came back.
And what did we give them, like $100?
Like nothing.
Yeah.
And they let us have the full run of that. We could have done anything in there.
Yeah.
Do
you remember the one guy that we were asking if we could shoot at his place, and he was like, his pants were falling down, and he was like, "Oh, my ass is hanging out." And we're just like, "Well, this guy's nuts." And he's like, "I'll show you how to do this." Like, I don't want a real boxing class, man. We're just trying to make a silly movie.
Trying to make fun of this shit right here.
But I remember when I was trying to figure out what to wear, and I had like black pants. I was like, maybe I'll wear these, and they didn't close because I'd gained too much weight. And then we were like, "That's perfect."
It is.
I was like, "All right."
We need to make part 2, dude.
Part 2 of Cut Man? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should.
I'm telling you, the story's ready. It's right there. It's so right.
I think we wrote a 160-page
I still have
after
it.
that.
I still have it. Well, let's get into this here because I'm excited to hear this. So obviously, you know what the show is, and it's not just always about dealing with a death or being raised by a single parent or any of that. This is all these honeydew moments in life. When you and I were talking, you got quite a bit. So why don't we start with this spend the night story you have, and we'll just go from there.
That's just, I don't know. You know when you can just still feel the humiliation? Like actually feel it inside.
I carry it with me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel that one still. Like, I mean, if I think about it, I can still feel what it was like. Because
how old were you?
I would have been 9
Is this
years
your
old.
first night? Is this your first spend the night ever?
No, it's not my first spend the night ever, but it's one of them, and it's a really rare one because it was on a school night, and for some reason I was spending the night at Michael's house. Michael lived like a block away. You know when you ever have like friends' parents who you thought were like, man, they're kind of like, they're mean. Kind of mean.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like his mom was kind of scared me. His dad, they were kind of weird.
I imagine my mom scared everybody.
Your mom?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
they all were scared. Football players were scared of my mom.
Of your mom, really? Yeah. Well, this lady had just like a tough and she had a bite, man, like or a bark, I should say. Like she would like snap and yell, and I'd be like, "Woof," you know. It's like kind of intimidating. And his dad was just kind of weird, kind of nerdy, and seemed like a little detached. So they just were like, they weren't family, but you know, they were friendly, and we went to the same school and everything. And for whatever reason, I feel like my parents must have been on a trip for me to have spent the night there. And it's weird that I was spending the night there as opposed, like looking back, as opposed to like Brian's house, because he lived in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
And that's my cousin, and my mom's sister, you know, was his mom. So anyways, I'm at Michael's house. It's also kind of a thrill when you spend the night out, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, this is
it's a treat.
oh, this is a shit.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you have like a different breakfast and different night schedule. You know, it's like, it's exciting for a kid.
That's when I learned all like Lucky Charms, all the new cereals. I'm like, what are these?
I remember I used to spend night at this kid Ira's house, and Ira's parents would make bagels and melt cheese on it, and I'd never had that before. You know what I mean? Like when you're like
bagels, I got first at someone else's house
with cheddar cheese melted on it. I was like, and I would go home like, you know what we had, and they're like, oh, that's nice. Like
they've had.
I'm like, can we have that? And they're like, nah, I don't like bagels. I'm like, but I like it. That's too bad.
Too bad, man. I bought a grocery.
Yeah. So, but anyways, so I spent the night at Michael's, and it was fun. You know, I think we probably watched a movie the night before, and it's like getting ready for school, and I'm like, all right, man, like feeling good. And I remember we were both standing on a step stool at the sink brushing our teeth. So his mom's like, all right, like you got.
So this is morning time. You're getting ready to hustle to school,
and we're in Catholic school, so it's like white button downs and like navy blue pants. Like that's like the uniform, right? So we're dressed and we had breakfast. She's like, all right, brush your teeth. And we're brushing our teeth. And as we're brushing our teeth, I just remember I go to fart. And I just kind of was like, I fart. And I just immediately shit my pants. Like badly. And
like diarrhea is everywhere.
Splatter. And then the next thing I do is just start crying. I was like, and then here's the thing: I'm not just.
Are you just still standing on?
Yeah,
the stool?
standing on the stool. I'm not just humiliated.
You're also scared of these.
I'm scared of her.
Fuck
I'm
yeah,
scared of her.
She's gonna want to touch
I'm like,
you.
she's gonna beat me right now for doing this.
Well, the shit's already out here, so he ain't gonna beat the shit out of you.
She's just gonna beat me out of tears. I don't know what she's gonna do, but. What I do remember is that she did a kind of a switch. She actually got real nice about it. So like, whereas my fear is that she's going to be like, I've seen her be angry. She like lived in, you know, people like live in that anger mode.
Misery.
And you're like, Jesus. So I was like, she's going to be so angry at me right now. And she was like, all right, just come here, sweetie, or whatever. And she just like cleaned me up and got me.
You put on? His pants?
Probably.
Oh, high water.
Yeah, probably. I don't even remember what I went into. I just remember that the humiliation and the fear that she was going to be really upset with me, and then she was just like, "It's all right." I was like, "Oh, fucking thank God." I was terrified, man. I was terrified.
Do you still talk to them? Are you still friends with them at all?
No. I remember I saw her maybe 10 years ago. At a wedding. I went back to Cincinnati for a wedding. And then she was like, oh my God, it's good to see you.
I tell the story at the Tupperware parties all the time. Yeah.
She told me something that I thought, I don't know. I guess it's, you know, people have pride, obviously. We both have kids. You have pride in your kids. She told me in the pew at the wedding, like someone's walking up the aisle. I was like, oh my God, good to see you. She's like, yeah, you know, Michael's doing great. And I go, oh, that's great. She goes, yeah, he just got approved for a big loan. And I was like, it's great.
That was the news?
Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, that's great. I was like, low interest? And she's like, yeah, like manageable payments.
Yeah, flexible and shit.
Yeah,
you know,
we
like, keep it down for over the first 20 years, man. I hope you say yes.
She was like, it's a significant loan. I was like, okay, they're about to do the
Remember when you shit yourself? Dude, you know she sees you on Netflix and tells people that.
This kid
right here shit himself in my bathroom.
Yeah, I did. I shit big. It wasn't like a lit. That's the thing too, is it was before you know how to. I cried so hard. But you know, like now, you know how to like push out, like you know how to manage.
I like
questionable fart. Like you're like,
yeah.
Like at that age, I was like, oh, just push super hard. It's a fart.
It's banging
Bang!
it. Yeah.
It was like everything came out. It was huge. Dude.
Huge.
It was like a slingshot.
I'd love to make you just instantly start crying. While you're brushing teeth. And the shit's in the air too. Once it's in the air and not in the water, it just, man, it stays in there. It just hangs out in there. It's like, oh my God, dude. That's great.
There's nobody though who could, like, I think, humiliate me more than my mom.
See, it's funny you say that, because I would have definitely guessed your dad, but why your mom?
My dad, his embarrassing stuff, like in my memories, are all unintentional. Like he's the type of person.
That's what I'm saying. I would feel like your dad would go bust your balls, and mom would be the
no.
unintentional person.
My dad wasn't like. My dad's the type to be like he always liked when we were kids, and he liked to talk to us like kids as we got older. So he, and he has 2 girls and a boy, so maybe there's a lot of that. So he's like, "Oh, hi, sweetest," to his grown daughters, and sometimes a girl it's different. Then he's like, "Hey, buddy," to me, but like. I'll be like, I'm like 19. I'm
right.
Like, hey, man. And, he's like talking to me like I'm a little kid. But I understood that about him. But he would do things like in the vein of that are embarrassing. But I was never like, oh my God, I'm mortified, But yeah, he would do like silly things, like literally wave to you like you're 3, like, like that. And you're like, hey, Dad. Like he's visiting you at college. Like, hi,
double
buddy.
hand. I haven't even waved my 3-year-old like that.
Shit like that. But like I'd be like, all right, man. Like, there's trying to get laid here, bitch. Can you chill out? But you know what I mean? Like he's just. It was like dorky. But I was never like, oh my God, I'm fucking humiliated. Right. My mom, like. With her, I mean, we could probably do multiple episodes about, but like there's one I remember, dude. So I used to go when I got home from high school, almost every day, at least sophomore, junior year. The way this house was laid out, I'd go in, and then there's like a back room with a couch, and a lot of times my sisters, we'd come home at different hours because of sports and stuff. Everyone would kind of go to that couch just to hang out, watch TV or something. And there'd be a couch that we would just like run up to and like jump on.
Yeah, drop the elbow.
And I was like 225 as a junior, so that thing's getting like some. But anyways, part of the support in it was clearly broken. So they call somebody to inspect it, right, to check it out. So this guy shows up, and he's like, all right, and he pulls it forward, and he flips it so that the back of it is now in plain view. Mm-hmm. And you look and you're like, what is that on there? I mean, as closer look, you can see that it's dried boogers, like, right? And like, so I'm sitting there and my mom's there, and as he's like, what is that? And it's kind of like, he's like curious. He's like, you can see, he's like, what is that? And then she sees it and she immediately looks at me. And she's like, you did that, like you did that. And I'm like, in front of the guy, and you're also, 17. I was like,
how long these fucking boogies been there, man?
I guess, I would get home from school, probably like sit there, pick my nose, and just wipe it on the back of the couch and not even think about it.
Like reaching over while you're sitting there?
like hand like this.
Oh, I see.
On the couch, and probably just like go like that and just wipe it on the back of the couch and not even think about it. So. Now, I know for sure that it's me, but I just remember being like, for her to like call me out in front of the stranger felt like especially embarrassing. Man. So I was like, I didn't do that. And she was like, you sit there every day. Well, I go, you did that.
You told her.
Yeah. I go, those are yours. And the guy's like looking around the room, like, and she was like, what? I was like, you did that. And she goes, you come home from school every day and you sit there. You clearly are the one doing that. And I go, yeah, but I'm at school all day, so who knows what you're doing when I'm gone, I go, there might be boogers all over this house from you. And at this point, this guy's like,
he's like, I'm going to get the fuck out
He's like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. There's boogers, it's broken shit. These two are going to. But I just remember like being humiliated, by that, and wanting to humiliate her. Like that was like the feeling, like I was like, I want this guy to think
my mom did that.
Yeah, just because like I know I did it.
Right.
But because you're trying to make him understand that, I want him to think that you probably did it.
My brother used to because we shared a room for
I don't do that anymore, by the way. I don't wipe boogers on my stuff.
We'll see. I'll look behind your couch next time I go.
The couch I can't. It's like out in the open.
You can't get out there.
Yeah.
Or hide it.
Yeah.
My brother used to I'd be falling asleep at night and I would feel these things hit me in the face. This side over here. Like I'm like, what is that? And he would just be dying laughing. and then like hit my lip. I'm like, what the fuck are you throwing at me? And he was rolling boogies up and just pelting me with them in my sleep, dude. He used to wipe them on the wall. He didn't even care. He put them right here above his bed.
That's nasty.
I never did that shit.
Yeah, I think I was okay with it because I couldn't see them. You know?
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. Or like sometimes in the car, you're like, I'll do that in Christina's car. And she's like, "Are you flicking boogers?" I'm like, I go, "It's on the ground." But I don't actually like walk up to shit and go like
and wipe it on it.
No.
We were talking about I love you stories.
Oh my God.
And you said you have some that are really humiliating. And I've been there before. Like I remember, I'll share this one real quick with you to make you feel a little better. But I remember there was this cute girl in the neighborhood and I liked her. And the girl next door was like, "I'm going to help you." This is middle school. "I'm going to help you go out with her." And I was like, "Okay." She's like, "I'll bring her over and I'll tell her like, you're nice and all this." I go, "Okay." And so she brings her over and we're playing and stuff. And she goes, "Ryan really thinks you're cute." And she just goes, "Ugh," like that.
Oh.
You
saw it?
Oh, it saw it. She did it right in front of me. She's like, "Let's go do something else." And I was like, oh. Oh man, that warm feeling that just washes over you is like, oh man, that does feel.
It's like impossible to shake.
It was probably something really nice that happened that day. I don't even fucking remember that. I remember that shit though.
Yeah. I think that might be, I mean, it's part of the human experience, but there might be nothing else quite like professing your feelings for someone and then being like, nah.
I don't even feel the same
Oh my
way.
God.
Like, you don't even know, like, how are you so off? Like, I love you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even feel that at all. Like,
I
how
mean,
did I read this so wrong?
like is a stretch for me.
I just needed a ride, okay?
Man.
Were you an I love you guy?
I mean, no, I don't feel like I was like throwing it around all the time.
Probably threw it around a little too much.
Really?
But I meant it. If I had braces and
I would
acne,
think
if you
that
did
I-
anything with me, I
Yeah.
loved you.
I remember saying, I definitely said it too early. So embarrassing. I mean, I remembered saying it to a girl in high school.
That's
And-
the first time high school?
No, I probably said it to somebody like in middle school or something, but like not really, just thinking to say it. I don't know. Just more like infatuated. I remember saying it to a girl in high school who like things were building with, and I actually think I waited too long. You know what I mean? Like I dragged it out, and then I remember telling her, I was like, "I love you," and she was like, "Yeah." I was like, "What?"
And she's like, "Yeah, of course you do."
Yeah, like I could tell. And I was like, "Okay."
Stole all your thunder from
Yeah.
that moment,
I was like,
everything.
all right. And then, like shortly thereafter, she was going out with a friend of mine. That was devastating.
Oh, yeah.
Devastating. The one that I remember, the two that are more like adult ones, was like one in college. I went out with this girl. So we were staying in the same like housing complex, whatever you want to call it, right? Student complex, like student housing. I can't even think. And I met her on the yard there. Sounds like I'm talking about prison, but I met her, in the student union or something. And she was this cute girl, and Mary. Anyways, I go and I take her out to dinner one night, and we come back, and she was like, she tells me to come up to her place. Dude, I have to shit so badly that I go, I got to study for this test. And she's not like saying, "Let's watch a movie." She's like clearly hinting, like we can hook up. And I definitely want to, but I'm like, I could feel like a pool of water. Like I can feel it in my guts. Like it's not like, oh, I kind of have to take a shit. I'm holding on to an emergency right now. Like I can feel it. And so she's like, okay.
But why are you not comfortable just saying, "Let me run to my place real quick"?
Well, hold on.
Grab a condom, whatever, anything.
Because I do have to. The part about the test and all that the next day is true, but I'm.
It was the studying part that wasn't true.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, I should be studying for the test. I should also be hooking up with her. The shit that I feel, like in my mind, I'm like, this is a category 5. Like this is gonna take massive cleanup. This is not like, and who knows if I could have sex after this, because I don't know what's going to happen with my guts and my ass. It's just, if I know it's a disaster. So I go to my dorm room, and the way that my dorm room is that there's myself and my roommate, a bathroom that has 2 doors. One you can enter from my side, and then there's another 2 guys on the other side that also use that bathroom.
What do they call that bathroom? Someone just told me the other day.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a name for it.
But you share it.
It's not,
right.
Yeah, but there's a name for it.
But we share it with
Somebody will tell us.
2 other guys.
Yep,
okay?
I know exactly. I had that situation.
I lived there for my whole sophomore year. I go back from like, all right, well then like I'll see you. I think we kiss, you know, like out on the student patio, whatever it's called. And then I'm like, yeah, no, because I got to go work on this study for this test. And I'm giving no hint of what's going on with me, right? I go up to my room, I sit down, I shit. And I'm not kidding you. For the whole year, this never happened, but that night, as I shit, the 2 guys go, "What the fuck is that?" and it's
you all right in there?
Dude, it's so loud, and it's just like a black pool of water, right? It's like, it's horrific. And I flush, and I got to flush again, and they're like, "Oh my God," because the smell is like going through
poison.
The walls.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What the fuck?" I have to flush like 3 times. Immediately, I got to get in the shower and like clean up. And then like when I was done, they came through and they were like, "What's happened? What happened to you?" I was like, "I don't know. I went out. I think I took her to sushi." I was like, "I had sushi," and they were like, do you need to ride somewhere or something?" I was like, "No." Yeah, I'm like, "No, I'm good, man." But that's what it was. Anyways, I was like embarrassed that happened too, and I also had like the thought that
this goes back to all that shit trauma probably when you were fucking 9 years old.
Maybe it does.
It does.
Dude,
scared you're gonna shit yourself and start crying.
I end up going to bed, and the next day, that girl Mary, her friend was like thinking that I'm a sweet guy, and she's like, "You're like a really nice guy." And I was like, "What? Why?" She was like, "You
should talk to my roommates, man."
You're taking your time with her." That's what she thought. Like that I was like,
right.
That the reason I didn't go over there was like, I don't want to rush things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
Janet Jackson, let's wait a while.
Yeah. I like to hook up, but not the first night. So then I'm like,
now you're like the hero.
Yeah, I'm like the hero because I had to take a massive shit. But then, like, I don't know, the spark of whatever was happening that night kind of just faded. But then I was trying to, pursue it more, trying to make it happen, and I couldn't make it happen.
You dropped an "I love you" on her?
No, I feel like it's worse than that.
What's worse?
It's embarrassing. So I feel like, all right, I definitely tried to go out with her a couple more times. And, I think it was more like just conversation and passing. Anyways, we go to break for, like spring break or something, like leaving school. And I call her. So embarrassing. I call her, and she doesn't answer. I play a song through the phone.
Oh my God. Wait, can I guess what song it is?
It's so fucking bad.
What year is this?
It would have been like 2000 or something.
2000. Is it R&B?
I can hear Potter.
Return of the Mac.
I'm back out. I love you.
Return of the Mac.
So are you talking over the song too? Like, girl, and letting like Boys the Men play in the back? All right, let me guess. Is it Everything I Do it for You, Bryan Adams?
You're in the right genre.
I am in the right genre.
No, but it's R&B.
Is it Jodeci?
Oh,
Who is it? Who did you serenade?
I was just on a flight with him. I was told the story. Do you want to guess again? You're almost there. I feel like you could guess it. I really do.
Is it a solo artist?
Yeah.
Is it like Johnny Gill or
You're
is
almost there.
Not Bobby Brown.
No, but
Ralph Tresvant.
no, but you have the right first initial with
J.
Bobby.
Oh, B. Who is it?
This is Brian McKnight.
Oh my God. It is way worse than I thought.
It's worse. Yeah.
What song was it?
Do you know what she called me back and said? She never called me back. I saw her a year later with a baby.
Wait. Yeah. You dodged that, bro.
Yeah, and that's not even the worst one.
Brian McKnight. You just played that. You didn't say. You didn't sign off. Or anything. You just.
I might have
that.
started it off saying something, and then I played it. Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, all the things I've been wanting to tell you, I really am not comfortable, and I can't. So I'm gonna let Brian McKnight take it from here. You didn't tell him that story. You should have told him that story, dude. He would have fucking died laughing.
He may have. I don't know. I bet you like Brian McKnight's probably heard that story though, like the way.
But positive ones, like we played you at our wedding.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you were our first dance. He's like, that's nice, man. That's nice. I played your song on an answer machine for a chick one time.
It kind of felt stalkerish.
Yeah.
He's like, that's very nice.
You
man.
said it's not even a worse one. What's worse than that?
Oh, this one's worse. I mean, this one's worse because I feel like, man, it's like.
Wait, do you remember the song you played, the Brian McKnight
I forget
song?
the name of it. If you played it, I'd be like, that's the song. But it was like.
What's worse than that? How do you do worse than that?
So I was in an acting class when we got here, and there's always like a few beautiful girls in every acting class, especially in LA, right?
And there's a few beautiful women in dumpsters in this town.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah. So this girl, I remember like I walk into this acting class and like right away, there's probably 20 of us in it. Like 3 of the girls, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like out of this world. And I was, you're just kind of like infatuated with 1 or 2 of them. And you sometimes like, if you spend time doing something, you either like lose interest or gain interest, right? So then one of them, you're like, I'm not that attracted to her. One of them, I was super attracted to her. Dude. So I ended up doing a play in town. This is like after this class. And well, first I do a stand-up show and she brings her boyfriend to the show, right? Mm-hmm. It was down, what's that, Comedy Union.
Yeah.
So I do the Comedy Union and she brings, you might have been on that show, probably were. She brings her boyfriend, which was like, these are people from acting class, right? A few of them come like, it's all that like, I want to support you thing. They come, I meet them. I'm like, thanks for coming to my show. I mean, I just think that, whatever. Attractive, nice girl from my class. We keep going to class. One day we're kind of like flirting in class. And then I mentioned I'm doing this play and she's like, well, when do you do it? Like, we're doing it for like a month, Fridays and Saturdays, something like that. Well, she decides, she's coming to one. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. She comes, but she's alone. I was like, oh, that's odd, You
can sit right here. This is Brian McKnight's seat. I'm not sure if he's going to come tonight or not, but you can sit right here. If Brian McKnight comes, I'm going to need you to stand up and get up.
She comes to the show, and after the show, she's like, you want to have a drink? I was like, yeah, sure. She was like, you were great, and, just kind of shooting the shit about it. And, like, I'm sitting there like, man, I'm fucking hungry, And I remember she's like, well, I'm going to go back to my place now. And I was like, okay, cool. And she's like, what are you going to do? I was like, I'm going to go back to my place. And she was like, oh, okay. I was like, this is kind of odd, but it's just like no one's really saying anything. And I'm just like, it's cool that you came and saw my play, but you're going back to your boyfriend. So anyways, I stop on the way back to my apartment. I get fast food. Remember, I get like a burger from somewhere. And I get back, I'm starving, man. Because you can't like eat before shows, right? So, so I'm like shoveling this down, and then I get this text. And she's like, so do you not find me attractive? I'm like, what? What are you talking about? She's like, well, I was kind of like trying to see if you would come over, but you, I guess you just don't think I'm attractive. And I was like, what about your boyfriend? Because this hasn't come up the whole night.
Right, yeah. And
she's like, oh, we broke up. I'm like, what? So I'm like, oh, God. I go, no. And then she's just kind of like, well, we'll see. Like maybe some other time. And I go, you gave no inclination that was the situation.
I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm a nice guy.
I like to take it slow.
Brian McKnight will tell you all about it.
Brian McKnight will tell you all about it.
So this now she, I'm like, I just felt like a fuck up, like a miss, And I'm like, God damn it. And I remember one day I'm driving around. It couldn't have been that much later, but maybe like a month or something. And I was like, I'm going to hit her up again and be like super forward about it. Like we should go out. And she's just like, okay, cool. So
you did it and she said, yeah.
Yeah, she said, yeah. So I go, I pick her up, we go out to eat, have a wine. She's being super flirty. And she's just like, I remember she's just like giving every inclination that, things are going to happen. So we go back to her place. We start making out. And I'm like just infatuated with her, right? I'm also like a few years younger. So I feel like almost like a kid. And she's like, I got to go get these smokes. And I was like, okay. And I basically go like, I love you, right?
You just fucking...
Yeah. And you know what she says? She goes, I know.
You're 2 for 2 on letting the women know.
Yeah, she goes, I know.
But didn't say it back.
No. But she's basically like, I want you to just like kind of service a need.
Yeah.
I'm freshly broken up and I just want you to like dog me out, you know?
Scratching it.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like this is cool. She go get smokes. We have some more wine. We're butt naked, start hooking up. And she goes, as like we're just getting like moving. She's like, I'm pretty drunk. And I was like, okay. She's like, do you think we could do this tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Yeah. And I'm like, all right.
Shit.
I go, yeah.
That's a hell of a place to stop.
So then we stop, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
And then, but I see that she's kind of loopy. So I start asking her questions. She's answering them. I was like, I just asked her about some other guy. And I was like, oh, did you guys hook up? And she was like, mm-hmm. And I'm like,
everybody got this pussy but you.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. And I'm just laying on the pillow. I was like, and I go, how was that? And she was like, it was good. I was like, okay. So the next morning we wake up and she's like, look, she goes, did we have sex? And I was like, no. I was like, we were real close because we were all naked and shit with our stuff out.
And you pulled the audible.
Yeah. And then you were like,
but you know what's worse than that is that you didn't even remember whether we did or didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm gled we didn't at that point.
Yeah.
Because
obviously she's like, blackout drunk.
Did we fuck? I'm like, yeah, it was great. You remember? And she was like,
no, I don't remember anything.
No. Anyways, I kind of teased her about, the conversation, this and that. And then it kind of went south again. We didn't lead to anything. I was like, I was doing another show. I was doing a Second City show. And
you just left and that was it?
I saw her again. But
you didn't go back the next day? You didn't go back tomorrow?
No, I was there still.
You didn't finish tomorrow?
No, and in the morning, it was obviously not a thing. Like, she was like, shit, man, did we fuck last night? Yeah. Did you say you loved me yesterday? I was like,
nah.
That's probably your dreams.
I feel like you do love me, though.
Yeah. What kind of music you like? You
Be like, Brian McKnight, got Brian McKnight in my CD player. I don't know why that's in here. Yeah, I was trying to set the mood, girl. I love you.
Do you ever say that to like
way too much?
But I mean, like, where they're like, what?
No, I've never said it.
I'll say this though: the first time it was said to me from someone I had gone out with a few times, I was like, all right, like, yeah. She was like, this is where you say it back.
Yeah, right.
And I go, yeah, I love you too. I totally didn't at all. I stayed with her for like years.
You did?
Yeah. I mean, I was, it was teenage stuff, but I remember hearing it and being like, okay, that's cool. That's nice of you to say.
Yeah, that is. You're right. When someone else has said it to me first, it's been weird.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine like the way I said it was probably the way that I heard it.
Us.
Yeah.
Let's see. You got a list over here. Let's hear about this middle school bathroom story.
Oh man, I was in middle school in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee?
Yeah, we lived in Milwaukee for a couple of years.
No, I thought
I was in
Ohio.
The suburbs. Yeah, I was in the suburbs. I remember this just came to mind because you were like something humiliating, and I was like, you say that, and there's certain like incidents that just pop up. So I played football from 4th grade through 12th grade, right? And in this would have been
college, right?
No, I didn't play in college.
I thought you played.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
so 7th grade, I'm playing in the local, whatever it's called, the Pee Wee League or something. Mm-hmm. So some of the kids in my school, because we're in a public middle school, are also kids on my local football team. So that's like, the foundation of your social relationships. And in this case, because I'm like a transfer, like a new kid, that's like all right? So I would know these kids. Dude, there's this kid named Quao. Yeah.
How do you spell Quao?
Kwao.
I was gonna hit L at the end there.
Yeah.
Quao. Okay.
And if you're like Quao, he'd be like, yeah, just wow with a K, man. And you're like, okay, that makes sense. Quao. So Quao, he was our running back, super talented dude. And so, I mean, we were cool. I see him in school. Obviously, you see him playing ball. Dude, I go in the bathroom one day, and this other kid named Benny Cleveland.
That's a hell of a name, too. Benny Cleveland.
Yeah, Benny Cleveland was like 6'2" as a fucking 7th grader.
That's a great name.
And I'm going there just take a piss. And Benny Cleveland walks in. He's taking a piss. And then he just looks at me. He goes, God damn, you ugly, man. And I was like, what?
He says it while his dick's in his hand standing next to you.
Standing next to me. And he's like, damn, you ugly as hell, man. And I was like, I didn't know how to respond, Dude, Quao's in there. Quao, I'm like, Quao's like, hey, man. Like, goes up to Benny. He's like, take it easy. He's like, why? He's like, look how ugly this motherfucker is right here. Like, starts pointing in my face.
Wait, is that the hand you just had on your dick?
Yeah.
Benny?
Oh, Benny. And Benny had a big dick, too.
I'll bet he did. Yeah.
He would show us his dick.
Yeah. Let me show it to you.
Yeah. I mean, it dangled and flopped. And
we had that kid.
Yeah,
that kid.
It was. I mean, now here's the like. So, anyways,
all the time, he had no problem getting in the shower in middle school. You know what I mean? He would just be in there singing and shit.
Yeah.
Like his dick was. It was an adult. It was a large adult dick.
Yeah.
In like 8th grade.
It didn't make any sense, right?
It was monster.
No one else's dick was like that.
Yes, it hung.
People would talk about their
Mine
dicks.
was resting on my balls.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like all scared. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be in here.
Yeah. Mine was like inverted half the time, especially if I was scared. So I'm like, oh shit, and I don't really know. Like, I don't really know how to handle Benny. I just know that I'm like, I don't run away. I just kind of stand there and look at him, and he keeps saying, and then like he's laughing, and Quao's like, come on, and Quao's like,
yeah, right, yeah, laughing, but like,
he's like, hey man, take it easy. And I'm like looking at Quao, like, say something to him, and he's like, Benny, like he's all right, man, he's all right. Like he's trying to like make it a thing.
He'll grow into his looks.
Yeah, he'll just give him a minute, man. Anyways, I was like mortified, scared of Benny at that point. But But then eventually it's so weird how that happens. Like I actually became friends with Benny. Like that took like a year.
Right.
But Benny could dunk in 8th grade.
8th grade.
Yeah. He didn't look like us, if you're wondering.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah.
We had that kid too. This kid, they called him Peanut, and he would drive. He would drive to like the under 15 fucking basketball games all the time. We're like, how's this kid? So is he not? But no parent wanted to say shit. You know what I mean? Nobody was questioning anything. This dude would drive in. He was either 16 or 14 with a stolen car, but no one said a goddamn word to him.
Dude.
Not a word.
There's a couple guys. One dude, his name was Afuma, and Afuma Obitua, and he he got like he was a ridiculous athlete, and he got fat. Like he was at least, what was it, 3 or 4 years older than me. So I go over to the big high school and like see the guys, you know, that were at my middle school but now at this big high school. He got fat like his junior year, like a gut, and he was doing 360 dunks.
I was gonna say he could probably still dunk and everything.
360s.
I carry this weight real good, man.
Dude, I was like,
yeah!
Oh my God. And like I saw him do a thing
Isn't that
where
crazy you see that like flips and shit like that. I'm like, how are you fucking doing that?
I saw a pickup game. I'm not kidding you. Where we're like, it's that whole thing of like you think you have a certain skill level, you know? Like I played basketball all the time then. I was like, I play basketball, you know, play pickup games. I played organized games. And on a fucking stolen pass, right? In a pickup game, somebody threw an outlet up to him. He took it, cradled it, and went bam like that and dunk. We were like
8th grade.
Jesus Christ. Doing shit like under the fucking,
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was, yeah, I was like, all right.
I remember playing soccer. This kid, Todd Haskins was his name. And he was like an Olympic development kid. Like they were bringing him up to groom him eventually for a World Cup. I don't think he ever made it. He might have made it to practice teams, but he was just like you said, like you play against him and he was on another level. And I remember he headed a ball from like 20, 30 yards out. That was harder than I've ever kicked one in my fucking life. And it went right in the back of the net. And all of us, like it was one of those ones where we all just stood and looked at each other like, never seen something like that my whole fucking life. They're all high-five. They're used to it. They're jogging back like, we're going to kick their ass. You know, it's 3-0 already. And we were just looking at each other like, if that's what's going to be like all day, we're about to get our ass beat up in here.
Oh, yeah. I remember having...
His neck, he was snapping that motherfucker just like a rifle out of it.
It's a totally different thing. And like, you can actually have that person next to you and not recognize how good they are.
Yeah.
You know, till you, like...
Well, you look at a guy like Messi.
Yeah.
He's not any kind of intimidating fucking, you know, like a Gronk or something like that.
No, it's
not
just like
that soccer
5'8"
players are,
or
but
something, you know?
But this dude is just something else, man.
He is. When in high school, I went to I transferred. I went from a big school to a small school. So I went to the small school.
In high school?
In high school.
Is this the one you took the boat to?
Yeah. I mean, so it was on the water. So, but I moved from that Milwaukee school down to the Florida one. So in the Florida one, we had 23 kids on our football team, which is really small.
I mean, that's one substitute.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kicker, that's 2 guys.
But 7 of them played college football.
Did they really?
So that's pretty significant.
That's that Florida area too. Man.
Yeah, it was pretty good. But so there's one kid on our team who was by far the least interested in showing up and the best by far. And I remember, like, you have more perspective on it years later. So I played defensive tackle and he played defensive end. So he's right next to me for the whole time in high school. We're the same class. Dude, I remember I had, obviously some idea of it because I'm playing next to him. So I would do things like, it would be like, 4th and 3 and the other team is going for it. Like they're going to go for it. And I'd be like, you got to make a play right now. And the ball would snap and then I would just hear the whistle. I'd be like, the fuck? And then he'd be back there. He's like, I did that. And I was like, oh shit.
He's already dancing and shit.
Yeah, and he would do it like if he felt like it, you know? So one day we're seniors and like all these schools are sending their scouts to see him. Everyone's getting like scout letters. Yeah, at practice. Oh, okay. So we're all getting scouting letters. I'm getting them from like D2 schools and, 1AAs at the time. Holy Cross and like some school and a couple schools in Virginia. And I'm like, oh, it's cool. He's getting like there's coaches coming in to watch him practice. Southern Miss, Arkansas, Oklahoma, West Virginia sends a guy. Damn. Like the big D1 schools. And you're like, yeah, like he's good. I mean, he's 6'2", 215, and not an ounce of fat on him. Never would work out. He would test higher on all the, like when we do weight testing days, test higher than everybody. Like never worked out. Ran a 4.5 40. He'd be like, I don't know. Like just did it. Yeah, just showed up and did it. So I'm like, yeah, he's really good. But in your mind, you're like, what is really the separation between me and him? And, we both make plays. Like I'm sacking the quarterback. I'm making plays during games. I'm like, whatever, it must be that he's 2 inches taller or something. So one day we're doing this, I'll never forget this. We're doing a drill in practice where it's a pass protection drill. So I'm blocking and he's supposed to get to the dummy, which is the quarterback. And he's like, so I line up. I never had trouble really with somebody blocking somebody. I played on the offensive line too. So they're like, go. Dude, in less time than it takes me to like stand up, he has taken me, thrown me to the ground, and he's on my
already
back.
Slapped the quarterback.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. And I look, and I was like, and they're like, all right, they're like, switch it like next. And I'm like, no. Like I go, I gotta do that again. Because I kind of feel like I must have slipped or something. Yeah. I'm like, we got to do it again. So he's like, all right, line up again. And then he's like, go. Takes me this time and fucking just throws me. And I'm like 245 at this point. I'm like, what? And then he's like, again, and I go, I still can't comprehend it. So I go, I want to do it again. And he's like, all right. And I'm like, this time I'm like, what happened was
him off too.
Yeah, I think he's just like amused. He's not gloating. He's not like saying
it. Like, give me it again.
He's like, you want some? I'll give it to you, man. So this time in my head I go, what happened was, I'm giving him too much. Like I'm leaning back and he's utilizing that. So I'm gonna try a different tactic. This time I'm gonna try to get under him. And then I'll just push him out this way. It was like the third time he was just like, I can give you something else. And he just did I went in, he took me and he just did like a spin move. And then I was just looking at the dirt, man. And it was like, it took me.
Oh, that's Dwight Freeney.
It took me like 4 years to realize
how good he fucking was.
Yeah.
Did he go on to play?
He got a full ride to Syracuse. He was on the team with Donovan McNabb, and he failed out of school after the first season, freshman year.
Damn.
And then he was like, I saw him at break, and I was like, you can make it to the NFL. He's like, I don't care about football. I was like, all right. Didn't care.
I had a moment in a game one time on a travel team, soccer team. My brother, we always all played together. It was the same guys every year, and went out to like way out in Western Maryland to play this team. And I don't know what the fuck happened. It was really windy, but I kept trying to clear these balls, and I kicked one, and it bent like this, and then bent. And I was like, nah, our goalie, or Goldie, like you like to say, was way out of the net, and that shit went right in 2 times. And we lost
2 own goals.
I scored 2 own goals, and we lost 3-2. I got MVP in that game, but we lost 3 motherfucking 2. That was my brother. My brother's screaming at me on
What
the
are your
field.
teammates saying?
They're like, what the fuck? But I mean, it wasn't like I went to clear it and the ball just took off the other way. And nothing I could do.
What about your coach? Was he like, no?
Yeah, what are we going to do about it?
But that's got to, I mean.
It was bad.
After the game, are they like, Ryan?
It was bad. That loss mattered.
That dude, by the way,
that loss mattered.
The super athlete next to me, in a game in high school, he recovered a fumble and ran it 75 yards the wrong way.
And into the end zone?
Yeah.
No, he did?
And he was like flying. Like we were like, hey man, like, we were trying
safety,
to stop
right?
him.
Ends up being
Yeah.
a safety.
Yeah, we were trying to stop him. And
I've never done that. I've never scored. Well, that I've done, but I've never scored on the wrong basket or like. And I wasn't dribbling toward that net to shoot. I just tried to clear the ball, but it was the exact same spot and exact same way 2 times. And I got under the ball and put that spin on it, and I was just like, oh shit! And it just dipped right in the back of the net.
it's got to be a horrible feeling. Horrible feeling.
And then they're running up the field like they did something.
Yeah,
That's
of course.
the worst part.
That is the
like,
worst
God
part.
Damn it.
We were trying to catch him. He had like a caravan of us trying to catch him, but he was so
Tackle him and
fast.
shit.
It looked like we were all like going to celebrate, and we were like, "Dude, stop!" We couldn't catch him. He's too fast.
He's high stepping
Yeah.
to 30 and shit.
The wrong way.
All right, let's see here. What else we have on here? What do you got over there?
What do I got? I got this one. Oh, I wrote down this these stand-up ones.
Yeah, I want to talk to you because I remember, and I didn't know when it was, like what had happened right before it, but I remember you calling me and telling me you got booed off stage at a show, and you're like, go listen, I talk a little bit about it on the podcast.
I remember.
I think you even do you have a recording of it or something? You were cutting it? Yeah, right.
I have a recording of, and I remember because so many people asked me about it at the time. Like we're about to do episode, as of this right now, we're about to do episode 496 of Your Mom's House. That bombing was episode 172.
Wow,
That's
really?
Yeah, I remember it because
Yeah.
I would talk about it everywhere. Yeah, so I bombed.
But why? What happened?
It was, first of all, it was 1 week to the day of recording Completely Normal.
That's nuts. You're coming off your first Netflix special.
You're feeling good about the hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, and it's 1 week. So you're like, I'm doing the same show.
And is this the same material right after?
I mean, it's a week later. So you might have like a new, line to say at the start. That was it. I mean, I'm doing that hour. I get up there. This guy had gone up, and that feature had a great set. And I'm up in
Where was this?
Winnipeg. At Rumors. I heard you were funny.
I heard you was funny up in Rome.
So at Rumors, and I just it starts off like okay. You can tell that like there's people, settling in still to the show, and it's like 10 minutes in where somebody's like, when someone's at a table and they're like, yeah, we should. I mean, the guacamole dip's good. And you're like, what? So I did one of those. I'm like, what was that? And he's like, yeah. He says something. And then I say something snappy back to him. I'm like, I don't know. Why don't you, there's something about like a dog group there or something. And I was like, well, why don't you put your head in a bowl like a fucking dog would or something?
But you didn't know there was a dog group there, or you did?
No, I knew that. I knew there was something dog related. I remember it was like a dog line. And then I remember that like when I said that, and as opposed to most times you say something like that, the person you say it to might be like, hey, I remember like 6 people were like, what was that? Like all at once.
Yeah.
And I was like, you heard, like, oh, that's a lot of people reacting to that. I tried to like go on, and people were like, you can't say that to him, like right away. And then it starts to build. It's like when something just spreads. So like 6 people are kind of upset, and then like 11.
This is right when you walk out?
No, it's like 10 minutes
10
in
minutes
though. Like it starts off okay, it's kind of going fine. That happens. They start to like it spreads throughout this table. And what I realize in retrospect is that most comedy shows, there's groups of 2, 4, maybe 5, 6 people go together, but it's usually a bunch of that, couples and groups, right? Friends. So this is late November. Holiday parties are big at comedy clubs during this time. So there's 2 groups there having holiday celebrations for like their work.
But they don't know each other, these 2 groups.
These 2 groups, but one is a group of 60.
Oh, shit.
And one is a group of 80.
Damn, okay.
And one of those 2 groups is also doing a fundraiser as part of the show. they're going to do like some type of giveaway and like some type of, what's it called? Like a bidding, you know, like auction to raise. And that's the dog thing. One of those groups has that too. So as it's starting to go, like as you're like, this is starting to turn, starting to go south. It's like the group that wasn't related to the first guy starts to go like, what's going on? Like, and then they start to get louder.
This motherfucker told him to put his head in the dog bowl. They're yelling across.
Yeah. And here's the thing. When that's in the air, you're like, you're trying to, I go,
you can't knock that down. You're like,
nah. I'm like, let's put this back on the tracks and just go to material. And at the time, I'm like, that's the thing to do. And dude, like, you can't. Like, I start doing like a bit. It just feels disingenuous. You're like, people here are upset. They're starting to say shit. And then just like that, out of nowhere, so the feature act was black. And this first person goes, bring back the black guy.
the black guy.
Yeah. And then other people are like, that's a good idea. Bring him back. And they start like, bring him back. And then they're like, you fucking suck. And then they're just going, boo! Like that. Like that. And I mean a parade of boots.
And what are you doing? Are you just standing up there looking? Or
yeah,
what are you doing?
and I'm like, you know, here's the thing. So of a group of like, let's say it's a 300-seat club, there's still like a table of 6 right here, not related to either group, who are just like
loving every second.
No, they're looking at me like I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Go ahead, tell me your jokes. So you're like, all right, and you start just looking at them and trying to do it. I mean, here's the thing. You can't, like, it's so loud.
Yeah, you're not getting out of that.
No. So then at one point, I feel like it's so ridiculous. I just find
how long is this going on? You're 10 minutes in. How long is this? Like 15 minutes of this shit?
I mean, I end up being on stage for about 33 minutes. And at one point I pick a light, like a light from the, you know, in the room that's supposed to be a stage light, and I just stare at it and I start just telling jokes to the light. You know, I'm just like, hey man, and I just run material at the light, because I know like they don't care,
and
like,
they're just getting louder and louder.
Yeah, it's so loud in there. It's like they're louder than the speakers, and they're having like full conversations and like, because they're like, fuck this guy, you know. And the manager of the club comes on stage at like 28 minutes, and he goes, "Are you okay?" And I go,
"Up on the stage."
Yeah, he comes on stage. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I go, yeah. He's like, you sure? I go, yeah. He goes, all right. He leaves. I keep, like, again, just like I'm talking to the ceiling. It's so loud.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not like if you're listening, you're like, so you're just like acting weird. Like, no, it's so loud in there. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. Like, I was thinking of just like pulling up recipes and reading those.
Yeah, right.
And at one point, I see the manager walk up again with a woman. And I'm like, she comes on and she's like shell shocked. She's a little older. And she's like, can I have the microphone for a second? And I'm like, okay. So I give her the mic and she's like, we came here tonight.
Trembling.
To raise money for these dogs. And this man deserves an opportunity to
fuck you, bitch.
That's exactly what happened.
Of course it is.
Yeah, they're like, shut up.
Mob mentality.
Yeah.
Bring the black guy back.
That's 100%.
I'm at the comedy club.
And she's like, can we please just give him an opportunity? And they're like, no.
Collectively 300 people.
Yeah, they're like, boo.
The fuck out of here.
Fuck him. And then I'm like, all right. And she gives me back the mic.
Here you go.
I go, thanks a lot.
I tried to help you out.
And then it just picks up again. So he comes back. The fucking manager comes back. Now it's like, yeah, about 30 some minutes in. This is a total disaster. I mean, like, has fallen apart. And he's like, I think we should bring back the black guy.
He doesn't even know his name. And
I go, okay. Sure, man.
But did you bring the black guy out? Did you like?
Yes,
announce
I got
him?
to. I got to say it. I got to go. You know what? This is a terrible show. You're terrible people, and you deserve this. So I'm gonna do you guys a big favor right now. I'm gonna bring back the black guy, and I go put your hands together, and I bring him back, and they go crazy.
Who wants to come out to that though? Like
He was super nice about it, and here's the craziest part of this whole thing. I walk off stage. I have to walk through the audience.
Oh, to get to the back. Right off here, you can just stay in until they leave. Of course,
I have to walk to their office area, and when the show ends, you hear people leaving. They're like, "He's a fucking asshole!" Like they're just like yelling. I'm like, Jesus Christ! And then it's Saturday night. That was the early show. There's still a second show, so. I mean, even though I felt like it wasn't justified, obviously, like the level that they're at, you're still like kind of like, Jesus, man, I just got booed off stage. And then they're like, you ready for the late show? And you're like, I don't know.
I don't know about that.
People came in for the late show, had clearly heard about it, like figured something was going on, but they were just a normal audience. So the show went just fine. Just fine, yeah. But it was just like a weird thing to have to do a show after that,
And a week out from your fucking Netflix special.
Yeah. And then I remember going back to my condo or apartment that night and being like fine, but then getting picked up for the airport the next day and looking out the window and being like, what the fuck was that? Like that was such a outrageous experience. You know what I mean? Like I've talked to people doing stand up like 35 years. Like I've never heard of that happen.
Yeah, I had never heard that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen people walk the room before, but I've never seen anybody get booed.
Who'd you see walk the room?
Tracy Morgan walked the Sunday crowd and Irvine. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them when he did ass eating.
A lot of it?
Remember the old Irvine? It was a lot of older people, especially on Sundays. And he leaned in hard on that ass eating. And they were just like, oh. And he was telling them, if you thought you was coming up here to see Brian Fellow, you're wrong, And they were like, they were getting up and leaving. They're like, he is talking about eating ass. Like, yeah, and they're just giving them.
And he's talking about for like 30 minutes.
They're just giving free passes. Yeah. So I was sorry about that.
I saw one time I had upset a couple at a show, and the lady was talking about me to Dan. This is our buddy Dan, who ran the Irvine Improv. And she goes, he's a fucking asshole. He goes, no, he's not. He's a good guy.
Good for Dan.
Yeah. And she was like,
guys, come on.
And he goes, here's a couple free passes, and you can come to any show you want.
Come see Corey Holcomb.
And and they were like, okay. And then as they're walking away, he goes, oh, hey, by the way, I can't promise you the next guy won't be an asshole. Okay, let's see that. Like, he's like, you're at your own risk here.
Serious.
Yeah.
Oh man! And now look at you, 2 Netflix specials after that. You got a sitcom? Are we allowed to say that?
No, I don't have a sitcom.
Okay, we're not gonna say that.
I mean, I've had pilots.
Yeah.
I've never had a show go.
Well, what's coming?
Oh.
You got a lot of shit going on. Cutman Part 2's coming.
Cutman Part 2.
I heard that's coming.
I shot another movie this week.
Yeah.
That was good. That was fun. Do
Your
I
dad.
ever cross your mind?
Is that it?
Yes.
Sing it.
Yeah. I don't have it.
Sing it.
Anytime. I love you, Ryan.
I love you, Tom Segura. You want to promote anything else before we get out of here?
No, I mean the tour is, we added 50 new dates.
I can't even get over it.
So-
How many total dates are on this tour right now?
The whole tour?
Yeah.
I actually don't know. I have to look. I really don't know.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
You just keep adding shows. So when you say add dates, is that a new city or is that new shows in
That's
those
cities.
You added 50 new cities?
Yeah.
Since when?
Those cities start in I think late July.
God.
So we had announced January
I
through
love it.
June, and now this is July.
I saw you going international, everywhere.
Yeah.
I can't even get over
I can't believe I'm doing you're like Antwerp, I'm doing Amsterdam, Paris, London,
It's nuts.
Ireland. Yeah, we added a bunch of US, like Minneapolis, Austin. I'm going to like Peoria, Albany, Rockford. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. TomSegura.com/tour. That's all the dates.
Well, I love you too. We can play some Brian McKnight when we get out of here.
Fuck.
And thank you, man. I'm stoked to be here. I love
we love having you here, man.
Mom's house.
Yeah, it's great.
And I'm Ryan Sickler on all social media.
We're gonna do dates together.
Yeah, we're doing. I'll tell you right now, we're doing June 13th through the 15th in Richmond, Maryland, and Atlantic City, and the 27th through the 30th in Tulsa, Wichita, and Kansas City with Tom Segura. I am Ryan Sickler. We'll talk to y'all next week.